Welcome back, guys. I randomly have a bit of time on my hands, so I'm going to do a quick team update video. Going to go through Classic, through my draft teams, and then even maybe touch on NRL Fantasy team, just talk about where I'm at, how I'm managing them, and how I've managed to kind of generally ascend ranks kind of thing in Classic after not like a slow start, but not the best start. Let's dive right into it and just talk about my Classic team. So currently ranked 10k. Which is like, yeah, not great. And last week, even with the 1434, we did drop a little ranks, but we've come a long way. I think I was like 30k a while ago. So what the team looks like currently, where we're at, 14 trades left. Use my last boost this week to go forward in to get Campbell and just to get Isako in and just make sure I've got a good amount of upside in the back line. Classic for me comes down to two things. I like to try and go early where possible. Like I went way early on Duncan, and he's been really good for me in terms of buy coverage. Early on Kai Pearce-Paul, way early, maybe even too early. Super early on Bostock a couple of weeks ago. Super early on Tamare Martin and stuff like that. Even early on Purdue, who's backfired a little bit and cost me a bit. Went on Walsh, that backfired. But yeah, the big thing for me with Classic is that I just leverage all the data tools. So I just sort of get a feel for where the crowd's going, and then just make sure that that makes sense, because like that just takes all the research burden out. I do use a matchup analysis for sit starts, which works pretty well, and then I just hammer the 3-round look ahead. So like Campbell, who I'm bringing in this week, just in Draft Oracle and on my website, you can just on the Draft Oracle website, you can just use the tool for free on there, and I just see like what the upcoming matchups look like. And I'm like, yep, that looks good to me. If it all makes sense in terms of money, short-term value, and then like he's getting DPP, I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. Then obviously the scoring map, but if you're inside the Oracle, this one's really big for me, is the positional scoring. So if I'm trying to figure out like, tonight, do I want to go for Herbie, who the Sydney's been decent in the past at defending that position. I don't rate them against him doing that. Or do I want to look at like a right winger, like a Sarko? How are they gone? They've also been good at defending that position. So it's like, yeah, a bit of a coin flip. I'll go Herbie probably just on floor. Or is there an opportunity for Bostock? Not really. So the Roosters have been pretty good defending those spots on the season. So just using those two, the look around, the look ahead, and then obviously the map, which this is a different version of the map's averages, and that's just like shows you who's benefiting in sheer descending order. So I use those a lot for Classic. That's sort of my process, is get a feel for like what's popular, try and maybe take a different angle on a few guys if I can. One thing I probably do wrong is I probably haven't chased enough upside, to be honest, and I went Timoko when everyone went Asako, which was a fail, but just where the money was at, I did that, and that kind of pod approach backfired because he's been really mediocre. It was really early on Pasco. That's why I've got like 470k in the bank, which is probably too much. But remember, I don't put much time into this. I probably put 20 minutes a week into this, into Classic. And yeah, like 14 trades left, probably not enough. I'd probably wish I had like 17, but just to kind of keep fighting for 10k inside 10k ranks, I've had to kind of do that. NRL Fantasy, if I just chuck it in, is also one that I probably spend maybe a little bit longer on each week because I play it with a different bunch of mates. Again, 11k. I took a big hit coming into buy rounds, but feeling pretty good. We have been climbing lately with this team. Everyone's on buy, but we've built pretty nicely. Even next buy round, got good coverage. Probably only missing like Jackson Ford as the main gun that I'm missing. But yeah, have made decent decisions in the back line, like holding Ponga, riding Farlongo out. A lot of people getting off Chester. I don't see the need. Like, to me, I need to see more like in the next 2 rounds from him. But yeah, don't really see a rush to trade him, even though he's probably like peaked or whatever. I think he's also just like quite good, Chester. But in terms of pods, maybe he could go, but I had other fish to fry, and I've still trotting out the Matt Timoko in this too. I went both ways, Matt Timoko on this one. So yeah, not amazing, but do like my team. Like, probably also was a bit late on Willison, but at the time his prospects weren't the same as what they are now, so I'm okay with that. Charlie Murray, I took a punt on, that's backfired, but he's a number for this week, and we just take those. And like I went cheap to cheap, so like sort of is what it is. that was a risk, but calculated. He can just be basically enough out later, and only one more injury, and Charlie Murray's possibly relevant again. So no biggie there. Duncan I've had for ages in both, and he's been awesome in both. Like a really good pod. KPP I jumped on late in this format, had him early in Super, less in this because his price was a bit tougher to swallow in this format, and I was sorted in this area with like Lasardi and Ryan Couchman and stuff. Yeah, Bostock went early. That was great. I kind of had way too many halves at one point, but it's got me to this stage, which I'm really happy with. So yeah, backline's been the big area of challenge. Like I got Ponga in NRL Fantasy, and then he went down, so that sucks. But NRL Fantasy, I just use the same information, right? All this stuff's pretty transferable. Obviously, this is Supercoach figures, but the weaknesses and the opportunities are pretty similar. There's not a heap of like, look at who's a gun in this format. It's like Latrell, 12, Ford, Young, Hines, Dewey. It's sort of much of a muchness, all said and done. You do get less quality in the back line in this format than you do in NRL Fantasy. So, I mean, in Supercoach, so I pretty much just use the same process, which is just what's the general crowd doing, then look for marginal improvements, and then use my data for sit starts, matchup stuff. So, yeah, that's sort of the thing. We can look at my draft matchups, my draft teams, sorry. Yeah, we'll go Community League first, of which I am sitting second on the ladder, I think. Oh, we're first on the ladder on points. We're first on points for. That's pretty cool. So that was drafted purely off my board, and I pivoted a little bit and went like for a high base build. But yeah, we've struggled a lot with injuries. We've had Dewey gone for ages. We had Fafita out for ages. We've had Haas out for ages. Yeah, my backline's been decimated. I think I have like only Murray, Talangi, and Jenkins who I drafted that are still around. I've just had to scrap injury-wise. It's been just a disaster. I lost like other back rowers too, as well to injury. So been an absolute nightmare. But somehow we're still at the top, and that's against some guys in the Discord community who are pretty big sharks themselves. So quite happy with how the team's going in the community league. Your guys all know the process with the community league, with draft leagues and using oracles. So it's pretty straightforward with how I do things. But it's been really hard in this league to get any edge, like to get any advantages and marginal gains, because the people that I play against just generally see my vibe and comments in Discord and kind of know who I like and don't like. So I've never really hit the jackpot on waivers or anything. Obviously I do look ahead and do some things right. Like I got Willison pretty early. I got Bostock way before he was common knowledge, but yeah, it's really hard to get a leg up in this comp, and that's fine. This comp's good for me to play in a different environment than my home league. So I really like learning from this comp and seeing like what mistakes I make and what other guys are grabbing. It is really cool, like as a research place, and then to actually have some success is good, because last year I was railed with injuries. So this year's been much better in that regard. So yeah, really, I mean, well, no, actually it hasn't, but my team's better in weathering that, I think. Last year I had like Tommy, and he was out for most of the thing, and I can't even remember who else I drafted last year, but yeah, it was not a fun experience. I'd have to look back and see my team, but I remember being pretty cooked with injuries last year. I think I picked like 4th last year. So yeah, Tommy just cooked me basically, because by the time it came back around to me, I don't know if there was a lot of value there. That I can't remember who I drafted. I have to check. But this year's been tough with injuries. But yeah, we've done a pretty good job drafting some guys like Couchy. Vanilla Blake did a job before Origin. And then yeah, we've just scrapped and fought our way back. Suafa'alongo's been handy. Jenkins, obviously, anyone who's got Jenkins will be top half of the table, because he's got, weak winning scores in him. Home league wise, it's been tough. Home league, like, where are we at with home league? So we're tied second. We were first until I copped a run of Crossland scored a 5 when I needed him to score like 50. And Jacob Preston in the bye round as a captain scored me 5. So, and I probably get close to winning that matchup if he converts and goes 60 plus. But look, we fight back. We've bought low on, or we bought injured on Fafita, Mark, Walshy, Fisher Harris just went down injured. I got ahead of the Bostock in here too, which was nice. Wong in here too, which was nice. But yeah, I've had a lot of injuries with Hines. Walsh hasn't really converted into anything good. Fisher Harris, yeah, it's been tough. We had the Eero, now McLean, Origin stuff. So yeah, it's been a frustrating, like, albeit it's been like some pretty good outcomes. It's just been frustrating when you plan for the buy rounds with like Mark and Hines and all that, and then you pay the price with random injuries that you don't really control. Fisher Harris and Mark. Fisher Harris being injured and Mark and Origin, the big ones, really. So yeah, the home league I'm really happy with. In terms of like the moves I made, I just haven't had the fruits of those coming back. But you know, if we look at the just the stats, like the advanced stats, it's shaping up nicely for the home league. It just hasn't come to fruition, sort of thing. You know, like in terms of the bad luck with injuries and timing of stuff, unfortunately. So yeah, I need to go on a run because the way we set our league up is just you do get rewarded for first and second. So like if you come down to the advanced stats, you can see like the TPR is good. These teams are really good, the guys that are above and below me on the ladder. Then there's a little bit of a drop off here. This team's got some real upside with Latrell, who's been injured. But you can see most underrated. We come in here. In both leagues, I'm most underrated, which is probably a pretty good thing. TPR wise, we were rolling, and then this is around the struggles with, like, I think round 12 dropped out, but you would have seen a big dip there. So kind of either side of the buys we've been okay, but we're a little bit of bad luck. Started a bit slow, which is fine. That happens, and yeah, now we're where we're at. So yeah, pretty happy overall with the team. Just need this luck to improve. And like I've got decent luck, but look at the guys I'm fighting with. You know, like the top teams, I've got the worst luck out of like these three guys, and close to here in terms of luck. So got to stay positive, steer the course. In terms of future trades and stuff, I've thought about some stuff, but I haven't really pulled the trigger or anything. Anyway, I don't want to belabor the point, but yeah, this is just team update, guys. I just thought I'd go through it. It's just a random video. Just wanted to talk on Classic and where we're at and what's worked. What's worked for me to sort of hover around that 10k. I do want to climb in there, but like front row, I'm happy with. Back row, like it's decent. We've got some moves we can make. Nidola Kawatu, holding Cleary for now. Don't know how long we'll do that for. Probably just ride it out. He's pretty expensive. Yeah, backline's okay. Like fullback's been a nightmare, hasn't it? Yeah. Anyway, I'll leave it there. But that's a bit of a team update. Probably should have done these a bit earlier, but I'll make sure I do a draft one in a couple of weeks and just talk through where we're at. Draft moves, I want to fix the 2RF. I'm got like Papali'i, I need to be playing in this front row for him to be maximising his upside for me. Fisher Harris is now 3 to 4 weeks out. Wong and Fafita will do a job, but in my comp I need something just a little, like a guy who's going to go 100 every few weeks, which I had in Preston, but I traded him just so I can focus on immediate wins. I need to fight tooth and nail with those other guys who are up there. So yeah, once Hines is back, maybe once Walsh turns a corner, we can do something. But yeah, happy with the backline. Probably the best backline on paper I've ever had in a comp, in a season for my comp. But I need them to keep delivering and actually deliver on the weeks where my other guys flop. I need my CT dubs to deliver. But yeah, anyway, the point is managing a few teams, and I'm top 1 or 2 in both my comps that I play draft in. You might say, oh, why don't you play more leagues? All that matters to me is winning my home league. Everything rides on it. I just love it. It's where I put all my berries. And any more leagues, might do one more at max. In the past, I've done 3 to 4 leagues, and it just took away. I just ended up not putting as much effort into as I need to. But the community league is a good blend with my home league. And yeah, all that matters is doing this and running the Oracle for you guys and making content. It literally takes so much time and energy and effort, so I don't really have that capacity there. But yeah, comment below if you have any questions, anything you want to see, any content ideas. I must also say the Draft Oracle Instagram at sc.draft.oracle is rolling. I'm putting tons of content on there, reels, weekly posts, replying to DMs if people have like questions and stuff. So get to the Instagram, guys. I'll make sure I link it in the description of this one. But that's it for your Friday. There's less games this week, buy round, so I just thought I'd make a little video. Maybe it just gives you that draft conversation, Supercoach Classic itch in your head. Just when you might be watching your 6 p.m. footy tonight, you can now watch this one. And yeah, if you enjoy this stuff, which I can't imagine heaps of people do, but if you do, please let me know and I can put it in the calendar to do more of it. But yeah, thanks for watching. Cheers.